Welcome to Scintillapod 2025 Wipe. Happy Christmas, Merry Yule, Happy New Year to all who celebrate. This podcast, we're going to take a look at a year in review of the highlights of 2025 for both ourselves and the world. And I missed out the bit that we normally say, so...
Because this is cheaper than therapy, vulnerable and analytical, two transbians navigating late-stage capitalism.
Specifically in 2025.
Specifically in 2025.
Hey.
Oh yeah, my name is Alicia, and your name is Raven.
Oh yeah, I'm Raven. Hello.
Right, you have done more pre-production on this episode than I have. I've done nothing for this, actually, because I've been unwell for the last 10, 15, 20 days. We're getting to the good end of it, hopefully. What have you prepared, my love? What are we discussing for this 2025 wipe?
Well, unusually 2025 started with January.
Unusually.
So we'll go from there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. So going back through photos for January of 2025, I didn't see much. I think we were just quite tired from Christmas and the New Year. Like the fact that, we went on the Boxing Day walk last year that we totally forgot.
Completely forgot that it existed.
Until someone else asked us about it. Like, oh, you're doing that again. It's like, what, us? We did what?
That?
We
what?
arranged that? Wow. So yeah, it was a quiet month in terms of photos. But then I did check to see what happened in the world. Obviously, we have the Trump inauguration.
Yeah.
With good old Elon Musk. Because, there was a point it was, unlike the first inauguration where they tried to pay as many people to show up as they could and still the mall was quite empty. This year, there was that Arctic vortex that came down.
Yeah.
So it was minus 20 degrees. Meanwhile, the room is filled with tech billionaires who are all planning on investing billions into AI.
And fossil fuels still.
It's nice to make that issue extra bad.
I think, then we did the opposite of capitalism then in January, because I remember when we filmed it, I was literally saying, by the time this is out, Trump will have been sworn in as the 47th president of the United States of America, which was an amazing, I still think it's one of the best works that we've done. Watching it back, I realized that the issue with that video essay is that I felt like it was capturing lightning in a bottle. And it came out literally after we had a chat like this. And we were just like, okay, no, this, I got it. I understood a piece of the world. Let me put it together. And then I appreciate watching it back that it takes too long to get into the historical effect of things onto the present time. And so if somebody manages to sit through the first 10 minutes, then it gets very good. But I do appreciate that it didn't necessarily have the same kind of hooks that, Capitalism and Cottagecore had.
But on the plus side, it did teach us that I think almost every other video we've done since then has been in that same sense.
Hopefully.
Because before the opposite of capitalism, we were either not quite scripting, but heavily noting.
Yes, that's very true.
We were doing the research, we were getting quotes ready, we planned out the videos. And that was the start of actually we know this.
We can just talk about it rather. And the less is structured that way, the more natural as a conversation it sounds. And so the easier it is to follow for everybody that watches or listens. That's fair.
So I think that was a good stage from that. Of course, we had the Elon Musk saluting a Roman emperor
it's funny
thing that they tried to claim.
It's funny that they tried to... I don't know, it wasn't a Nazi salute, it was a Roman salute. And I was like, I'm sorry, what did you think that Mussolini called the salute?
Yeah.
Fascists in Italy called that the Roman salute. It is the fascist salute.
It was a very good start into the big trend of 2025 being we all saw it. We know what they intended to do. It's completely obvious. And you get this weird double speak where half of the fans are like, yes, he did that and he's based for doing so. And then the other half trying to deny it because even they know when things... It's odd. It's they know that something's gone too far, but at the same time, nothing happened.
To me, the most surprising thing of the last, I was going to say 4 years, but actually no, It's much before the pandemic, and unfortunately, I worry that history books will tell us this started to simmer in 2016, and then because at the same time the first election of Trump and Brexit happened, so you've had these very concentrated moment, catalyzed moments of actual fascism trying to push and see how much they can get away with, basically. Yeah. And I think that started, I thought that it was most recent. I thought that this was from the pandemic. No, I think it's 2016, the catalyst of all of this. And let's see how far we can push it and how far we can push back. Because, I mean, in 2022, then Roe v. Wade was rolled back, wasn't it? And it's insanity. If you had told anybody, any like third wave feminists in the 90s, actually the kind of rights that you have now, they will be taken away, they would have laughed to your face. Yeah. But that's the kind of situation we are in, because I think. And
then meanwhile, like the Democrats had every opportunity before like 2020 to 2024 to say, to like
enshrine it in law.
Yeah, enshrine it in law, put it into the Constitution. And were like, the second it happened, they put out emails to everyone being like, oh, what a terrible day for democracy. Please give us money so in the next election we can actually enshrine it in law. And it's like, you could do it now.
You could have, but no. It's the most impressive thing to me in this last, decade at this point, then. I'm used to the kind of shamelessness, really. Yeah. Where, again, people don't have this perception from the outside of Italy, but Italy is, seeing the rest of the enormous air quotes civilized West, Italy is in no way connected, because there's not even that veneer in Italy of, but there are things that you can't say. No. In Italy, that never arrived. Yeah. So you get a mob mentality where, no, people should be locked up in institutions, people should be killed, women should be beaten, and people of color are actually alpha animals, and the majority says that and nobody tells them off, and it's not something that you can go after them in an illegal way. So that's the standard of things. So I'm not used to people doing terrible things and stepping back and trying to deny them. Yeah. So that's been very fascinating for me to observe. Admittedly, I wasn't in Italy anymore when the scandals with Berlusconi and the pedophilic rings that they were in Italy, which is not that different from the Epstein files at all. Thematic. I'm just like, in Italy they never played that game. It was such a thing of pride for old 70-year-old men to have raped children. Yeah, quite the bunga parties. Yeah, exactly. That I'm not used to people playing that kind of denial in front. And so I'm always like, you're doing these things. Why are you afraid? At the very least, Italy was very upfront with all these things. And this disconnection, this cognitive dissonance of... so you know that it's wrong, because otherwise you wouldn't want to deny it. Yeah. That's something that I'm not used to. I'm always... when even we get pushback on the channel, I don't know, the random turf finds us, and I'm just like, you're literally telling women that they have to accept the definition of womanhood, of patriarchy, and they have to be reduced to organs, and you're trying to tell in the same breath that you're being a feminist by accepting the limitations of patriarchy on your womanhood. And that doesn't sound weird to you? Yeah. So, I'm not used to that kind of cognitive dissonance, basically in the same sentence. Yeah. So that was fascinating to observe from America, and here, to be fair.
I think, it's also worth noting that in January, at the same time as the polar vortex, where we have negative whatever temperatures, the LA wildfires were going on that caused so many billions of damage, mainly because it tore through the rich neighborhoods, through Malibu and stuff.
I keep reading from people that sort of I know indirectly living in California, that people have not even sort of healed from that trauma, and so much else has still happened since. Then it's no surprise that the people are getting more and more dysfunctional, because we're not equipped to handle this level absurdity.
And because of the capitalism, the protections that we did put in place end up being taken away. Like I think a law passed the year before or something about what insurers had to pay out for.
Ooh.
And so it's a lot of insurance companies didn't pay out to people who lost their homes in that fire.
Like, I'm sorry that I have to bring this up, and maybe you have a point about this that will be at the end of the year of the accidental virality of my essay on poverty that happened. But like, when you look at all of these from a bird's view perspective enough, it's just like the death rattle of late stage capitalism, where it has stopped being able to use our labor as individuals. The only value is in business to business deals where they're talking billions and trillions. And in a context where AI, dysfunctional as it is, has been taken to use by businesses as, it doesn't matter that it's not quite working as well as humans, because I still have to pay minimum wage to humans and I have to pay nothing on AI. I trained AI without paying anyone copyright. So this is actually free. So the movement that we're getting towards AI, I genuinely always still thought before the last few months, capitalism is awful, but it still needs our labor. It will try to get it for free or close as free as possible to slavery, because that's the point of capitalism. It needs to get something for nothing that it can resell to a premium. So slavery and primitive accumulation was always that. I did not realize that generative AI is the latest version of primitive accumulation, and because that can be made a profit on nothing because they haven't paid anyone for it. It then becomes the kind of thing that they are attaching and are trying to get end users addicted to, so that they're not going to try to make money from AI from the end user, but if they connect it to their business. And so Google needs to buy, Google has Gemini, but all those other business, they need to buy the AI from Claude, from ChatGPT and OpenAI.
Whatever, was it Copilot, Microsoft's one? Because with the amount of, Microsoft makes the majority of its money from enterprise. And so baking it into Windows, and especially Windows enterprise systems that every single company in the world is basically using, that's going to integrate it, is going to take over the workflow. And then they can start charging on top of it.
Because that's the thing, you make people addicted enough that they don't need to do the steps anymore, because now AI rewrites your CV, now AI writes your cover letter, now AI writes and summarizes the emails from, the parents teacher associations to your office. And the moment that you have the end users in need and dependent on it, when you do the deal business to business of, now you Google or you whoever else, or you Meta or whatever, need to buy the AI from me because I have the user base based on it, because that's the point. Like, when you do not pay for something, you are the product. So the entire reason for ChatGPT to have been launched to the end user was exactly that. Not only you train it when you talk to it, but you become, the fact that you're used to use it now becomes part of the product and the way that they sell ChatGPT between businesses. And business to business are the only numbers of billions and trillions that matters to billionaires at this point. The end user doesn't matter. The only thing that they need from us is expropriate any last penny that we have of value, of capital, but they don't need our labor anymore.
Nope.
So what I thought was, they will always need to come to the table with us.
Yeah, like even when we lost industry and manufacturing and they replaced that with automated robots and stuff, there was like, from the 90s through the noughties, there was a massive explosion in shit jobs or bullshit jobs, I think they're called, where it's like, you can have an entire office that's filled with employees dedicated to selling products to other businesses. Yeah. And like, what do you, it's like the joke in Always Sunny in Philadelphia where Charlie goes to work with Frank. And he just he can't understand what the company makes. And he's trying to work out the product. Like, but what do we do? It's like, what do you mean, what do we do? We make money.
Yeah,
that's it.
So we're getting to the point where end users, individuals are obsolete.
Yeah.
They don't need our work. They just need any kind of property and penny that we have. So people like us are needed in the system at the moment, just as funnels where the money that we get from the government for our benefits goes back into the pockets of landlords and onto the utilities that we pay the bills. The moment that what is requested of us to pay overtakes what we are paid by the government, we have exhausted our function in it. And so I don't know what will happen, but homelessness comes in. Homelessness is criminalized in this country as it is criminalized in the US. So the moment that you push prices up, but do not push up the income of people as well,
and create jobs.
Yeah, you basically corner them into a grasp that they cannot escape without homelessness. Homelessness is criminalized, and so you end up in prison. In prison, you're basically, it's forced labor, and either you are fit enough to work or you're not, and you will be left behind and die.
I will say we have an entire year to get through here.
Yeah. But that's the current conclusion that I've come at the end of 2025.
Yes.
We are expensive meat suits that late stage capitalism doesn't know what to do about, and
they can make money off of our sickness, and they can make money off of our precarity to homelessness.
But at the moment that there's no more blood to extract from the rock, we need to die and die quietly.
Yep. Moving on to February, in much cheerier news, you had your first arts exhibition at Elysium.
Yeah. That was interesting. That was very interesting. I never would have called myself an artist before then. And then you actually see a piece of canvas that you've worked on the rug. Well, no, I've worked on it on the rug on our living room because I don't have a studio. I don't have a space big enough to work on it. So that piece of art was made in this living room. And then it hung on the wall of a gallery for 40 days, something like that.
Yep. Very proud.
That was interesting. I still have a hard time calling myself an artist, but after that I concede that I should have. I should have. Not quite yet. I still don't see it as an entitlement, but it is a descriptor according to common understanding of art, that if you have a piece of something hanging in a gallery, then maybe you are paid for even, then maybe you are an artist.
Yeah, it's the thing that was drilled into me during my photography degree, that the end goal for every photograph should be to be hung up on someone's wall. Whether that's like your own wall, whether it's an art gallery, whether it's been bought by someone to hang up on their own wall, that should be the thing that you keep in your mind when taking any photograph. And if you keep that in mind, then like the amount of work that you want to put into it, the amount of attention to detail that you have towards it, and the thought that goes into it becomes much stronger. And then you stop being like a passive observer of the world, just kind of capturing slices of it. And that's where you become an artist then, is where you're putting the intention and the thought into things.
I'll be honest, like I remember when I did the application to that cohort, and much like we discussed, I think in the first or second episode about, I got to London just out of sheer naivete and cockiness based on that naivete. I got that commission exactly the same way.
Well, yeah, when it comes to that, that's exactly how you're supposed to do it. Like, that is.
But it's not natural for me. But I think what happened at the time, it must have been like late 2023 when I did that. And I had just been beaten black and blue by the art community, really. And people that managed to get art council support and grants.
Yeah.
And I remember I had been contacted by a theater producer to do a show of their show in Cardiff. And first they contacted me because they were like, oh, we'd like to relate and integrate local artists. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to do spoken word. That's amazing. And then talking, this producer realized that my background was in community outreach for theater, for like National Theatre Wales. I had done that. And so they were like, oh, actually then it's much more useful to us that you do your office job for us and we'll find another artist.
Yeah.
And I cannot express in word how soul-crushing that was. Like, I'm very glad... Which, going back to all the pushback that I've had, oh, clearly what you do is worth nothing if you are in poverty with a master's degree. Sure, you think whatever you need to think to yourself, babes. The problem with me is that I'm actually exceptional, just not in the terms that capitalism understands it. But when it even comes to results for capitalism, I made so much money to people because I am so efficient and I deliver so much and so much more than is expected of my job. That's the issue, and then I get burnt out. But anyway. I was... Yeah,
because you were filled with rage from that. Then you filled out the Elysium form and it paid off.
I was genuinely like... That's the thing. When I applied, I did not know what I was going to do. I just had this absolute virulent feeling inside me that I was like, what I do matters. My art matters. I've been doing this art on the side of my life and as a photography of my life, really, for 20 years at this point, and I am so tired of being passed on like my experience doesn't matter. Yeah. My experience matters. I never had the entitlement of delusion to say, oh, I'm the voice of my generation, but I genuinely had that. I know actually that no one in my generation has my experience, or I would have heard from it. So there's a chance that a lot of people have had this experience, but none of them, including myself, have been able to tell the story or to reach other people. So I think that this is important. And I think that speaking as an immigrant that had to escape their country because of the racism and the ableism and, the direct abuse that I got from my parental figures, which it's so complicated on so many levels. And I don't want to make it like inspirational porn because I don't think anybody should go through what I've gone through. But I was like, I think these things need to be talked about. If nothing else, because if anybody else is going through the stuff that I've gone through and they shrug at it and think that it's normal and just something that they have to survive like I did, no, I want them to know and hear that it's not, and they should rebel as soon as they realize. Mm-hmm. And so that was the value to me. But I had no idea what I would actually have made out of it. But,
and also, it was able to bring people together because who came to...
Oh, fuck me. So I think the exhibition was the closest thing that I will ever understand to motherhood.
Yeah.
Because that thing on the wall is something that has my shape, quite literally, but is not me. And that it will be around much long after I've gone. Yeah. And it will carry with it a message or an echo of who I was. So I think that's as close
to... Or at least to what people think motherhood is.
Yeah. I think that's as close as I get to understand it.
Thankfully, the piece of art doesn't have a mind or a will of its own, so it can act as your legacy, unlike children.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that, but I'm so used to see that in parents that I'm like, well, at least I do it to something that I'm not damaging because of that.
And so who visited?
So part of my commission, I asked Imogen from Sapling Tower, if I cover your flight, would you come and stay with us and come to the opening? And bless them, they did. And then I very casually dropped the thing to Kellyanne Maddox because we had actually met in Swansea, and this exhibition happened in Swansea as well, which is, an hour from Cardiff. And I first met Kellyanne because in December of 2024, they had gone to Swansea to do a pilgrimage because her favorite poet is Dylan Thomas, and they wanted to go to visit all the places of Dylan Thomas when she was 39 still. And basically, he died at 39, so she was about to turn 40, and she wanted to do this pilgrimage, which I find beautiful. I completely understand this kind of thing. Yeah. It's so my thing. And so we met, and we spent like 4 hours together in Swansea. And when I knew of the exhibition in Swansea, I casually up, hey, maybe it's not, something that it's handy for you. But should you decide that you would like to go back to Swansea, and should you decide that February is an option, well, I have my first exhibition opening in February at Elysium, and Kellyanne came.
Yeah, that's so sweet.
And then
it was great fun.
Yeah,
Kellyanne
and then the next day, and then the next day she came to our house because we did a Witches for Palestine thing, and it was very beautiful to be physically in the same space as Imogen as Kellyanne.
Like Kellyanne is such a permanent fixture in our living room anyway.
Honestly.
Because we're like just so many videos that the algorithm throws up every now and then that it's like, hang on a minute, why are you over there instead of over there where the TV is?
It was beautiful and surreal, and I hope that it can happen again.
Moving on to March. Other than movies and stuff, so there was that's when I started making bread. So
it is, isn't it?
I made the first focaccia.
Oh my God, it made me cry.
Yeah.
It made me cry. How many people can say that they bake something and not only they make their partner cry, but they made their partner write a poem about it? That's how good that focaccia was. Like, it was bringing back, I don't know how it's possible, but extrapolating just the good of the scent and the smell and the flavor and the feeling of focaccia from my childhood without any of the bad stuff that were therefore connected to it.
So in the latest chapter of Ranked Competitive Breast Growth, which are words that I'm going to throw into this podcast without context, and people can look it up. We'll link it in the description if people want to find out what that is. There's one of the characters has started dating a trans woman of South Asian descent, because we're not specific about countries, but it's just South Asian. And so it's a few chapters have had like these recipes of different South Asian foods. And this character has become obsessed with recreating them for their South Asian partner.
Aww.
And I remember someone in the Discord that we have to discuss it spoke about how, isn't she maybe like exotifying this character's background a bit in like trying to recreate that? Like, isn't that a bit weird? And I'm like, well, I mean, I made my wife focaccia so good that it made her cry. So no, I kind of get it.
Yeah, absolutely. I can confirm. I will hold that testimony if people need it. Absolutely, that was an experience.
Now I have a proper pizza oven and I can make true Neapolitan pizza.
You will be judged by Neapolitans on that, don't you? Okay.
100%.
Like we will bring pizza. We'll bring Alfredo here, or pizza to Alfredo.
Well, actually, speaking of, so also in March was the London Tarot exhibition.
That's true. It was, isn't it? Oh, sorry. Okay, no, wait. Then March was also the Airborne Toxic event in London.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. The heartbreak. No, it was. Yeah, something then clicked in my brain in March, and. I keep claiming that my big diving back into music and the heartbreak and the nostalgia that it brings back to me happened in August when the first single of Florence and the Machine was out. And that gave me the excuse to dig back into my history and experience and previous career in the music industry. But no, I think that actually what started the scintilla was back in March when we went to see the Airborne Toxic event. Because here's a bit of a very, very quick story there. The Airborne Toxic event is the last band that I sessioned in my previous life career project, which was as close as I ever got to open my own record label. And I used to session musicians and I used to interview them. Yeah,
you were an A&R person.
I was as close to A&R as I could be without being part of a label, basically. And the Airborne Toxic event was the last band that I sessioned, and was everything about music is very, really, very emotionally charged for me. And I have this memory of having Mikel and the band at the YouTube studios in St. Giles in London at the time. There wasn't even the new YouTube studios that are in King's Cross now. No, it was still St. Giles. And bands always were very impressed when I gave them the address and they were actually getting into Google. And I was like, this is not nearly as cool as you think it is, but I'm very glad that this seems to be. Yeah. Because I managed to get people like them. And I had the impression, even back then, that Mikel was a specific, interesting kind of unusual man. As much as he had tried or he had given a very good attempt at playing the man the way patriarchy wants. Yeah. But fortunately or unfortunately for him, he had too much facility with the spoken and written word. And if you are too literate for a man, especially in America, ironically, you're a bit of a fag because of it. Like, oh, you have emotional intelligence to describe emotions. Clearly, that's gay. So it was very interesting to study the work of... Michael was a writer before being a singer-songwriter. And he wrote for Sweeney's. Like, he was serious in his writing. And you can tell. And you can tell that it's a honed skill as well. I knew that he had written a memoir, but I hadn't read it yet. And then we go to the gig, and they did like 4 nights, one after the other, because they kept selling out. And by all means, it was just the O2 in Islington. But
didn't they have a bigger place booked?
No, that's the thing. They booked the first day at the O2 in Islington, and I think that sold out in the pre-sales of their fan club or stuff. Yeah. And so they kept adding them until they got to the fourth date. And I managed to get tickets for the third day.
I mean, that's the thing with London. Like, if you're not at the O2 or at Wembley, then there's no space. There's nowhere else in London that has like the room to get those like medium large bands.
There used to be Shepherd's Bush. I think there's still, but it's an O2 as well now. I think that's actually where I saw the Airborne Toxic event back in 2013.
But I think there's lots of O2 venues. Like there's the like Astoria.
Yeah. Well, Astoria has been knocked down by the Elizabeth.
What was the one that we saw Stars at?
That's Scala. Scala is still there, but I don't know why I don't know if they changed promoter, but Whereas
like here in Cardiff, I think the Motorpoint Arena, as terrible as it is kind of like the ideal sized venue for those kind of bands. Like I've seen Biffy Clyro there.
Fair, because it was I think when
like a 3,000, 4,000 person venue. I think is like ideal for a band like the Airborne Toxic event. But where's a 4,000 person venue in London?
Yeah, I think the next best thing at the time was Shepherd's Bush.
Yeah.
But I think that the promoter in the UK did not believe that they could sell it out, so they didn't give it to them. And then it was like, fine, let's do the O2 4 times to bring together the same amount of people.
Yeah.
But anyway, we went, we saw them. I don't know if I'll ever have a chance to explain to people in a meaningful way the way in which I care about music and people that I think have value in music. And there are not many people that I look up to in music because I've worked with most of them, and I know that most of them are not worth it.
Yeah.
It's in a way, the thing about do not meet your heroes is absolutely true, and I've experienced it on my skin.
Some of them are decent.
Some of them. Mikhail is halfway there.
Yeah.
he's still a white cis-het man under patriarchy.
If he could just read one of your essays, it would probably push him over the cusp of where he needs to get to.
You reckon?
Well, yeah, because if
he doesn't take it personally.
Yeah, if he doesn't take it personally. Maybe not the essay that you wrote about him, but one of the other ones where like you can tell that he understands the way of the world, but I think the drawback that he has is that because he's come from a troubled background and has grown, he recognizes that his own worth is not enough to have made that possible.
Yeah.
But he attributes it to like manifest destiny rather than male privilege. Because if you call him privileged, he would probably say, no. I've come from this background. I used to be in a cult. I've been abused and had all these terrible experiences. And I worked hard to get myself there. But even on that, I didn't work as hard as I should have to achieve what I have achieved. But he doesn't have that missing piece in his head that accounts for why he's gotten to where he's gotten.
I am guess what? I wrote an essay on Mikhail, which I'll link. And I'll tell you what, these might sound, you have no idea what I'm talking about. You do. Here's what. Have you ever seen that quote that it's a meme now? And it came originally from Twitter, and it was like, how about these?
No more billionaires. Yeah.
No more billionaires, not even one. You get to 999 millions, and then every other red cent goes to schools and education and healthcare. And you want a capitalism, and we name a dog park after you.
Yeah, you get a plaque.
That is Mikhail Jollett. who is mainly known as the singer-songwriter of Airborne Toxic Event, but, then he writes this stuff, and if you are in any kind of way interested in progressiveness or leftiness, you have seen this quote, and that is Mikhail. Mikhail has this ability and facility with language that he has honed. By all means. It's not a gift, it's not a talent, it's a skill that he has developed, and I see the value in that even more. I think, like with everybody in the world, our limit comes in the way that the system has facilitated us.
Yeah.
And we like to think that we are just that good, especially to have overcome stuff. And so sometimes it shows more, and I think it shows a lot in white feminists. I've talked about it recently a lot. There's this dichotomy of anything that is an impediment, it's the fault of the system and it should be fought, but anything that I achieve, it's my own merit. And so it's ignoring privilege and disadvantage.
Well, it's the difference between having a difficult background and a disadvantaged background.
Yeah. That being said, Mikhail is part of a triad of musicians that I look up to, that I think are amazing human beings, and I'm so glad that through their art they managed to reach more people than simply the group of people that would have been around them. And one of them is dead. Yeah, March was interesting for the digging into my emotional background in music and having to rediscover that it still matters. It still matters to me.
Yeah,
I thought I had made my peace with that not being my career. I haven't.
Oh my God, Tronchetta.
Tronchetta, the love. Suddenly the love. Right, what happened in April then?
So in April, we have the Supreme Court ruling, which I don't think we need to talk that much more about, and the Diva Awards.
So the only good thing and silver lining of the Supreme Court ruling was the stunning video essay that you put together. Because even when we were discussing it, I did not realize what you managed to do is compress 2,000 years of trans history in 2 hours. In the most discussive and easy to approach way that one could do. Like, you were silent for like 48 hours after the news of the Supreme Court ruling came. And then after 48 hours, you sat on there where we usually film and we're like, okay, turn on the camera. And I was like, what the fuck is going to happen here? And you fucking nailed it, and it was all put together there, and it's so rare to see something so succinctly put together.
I mean, I'd say it's a fairly constant complaint of our relationship that I think too much and speak too little.
Do I complain?
Well, yeah, you're always like, I don't know what's going on inside your head. Like, the beautiful thing of getting to do this is I get to peek inside what's going on in there.
It's true. But that's the thing. It's because I know that when you use words, then they are the fucking best. I am addicted to words. So, but it's not a complaint that you don't use them enough. It's that I would always want more. I'm greedy.
I think that was a fairly succinct example of like, okay, this terrible thing has happened. I'm going to retreat inside myself. I'll like process everything and collect everything that I can, gather as many opinions as possible. Because that was like the hardest thing when that came out, is that the entire trans community panics.
Yeah.
And you have like a bunch of people who are overly panic, like having panic attack level panicking about it and being like, I just need to know, am I allowed to go into the women's bathroom tomorrow? So that to that level. And like, obviously the answer to that is no. But then there was also another group that didn't really understand what the implications that the ruling happened meant. Because this wasn't a case of like the way that they twisted legislation and honestly like perjured themselves.
Yeah.
Because they refused to speak to so many groups and only heard from one kind of group. And it's like the bias is so obvious. The thing that people have in their head where there are rules and the rules matter. And if you follow the rules, then that's okay. And I think a lot of white trans women carry that over from being privileged or supposedly privileged, or the the idea before they realize that they're trans, that they're supposed to be privileged. And this is how the world works. And this is how the world works for someone like me. The system would hold. And this was like, without, you had to thread the line so carefully, thread the needle so carefully on this, of not just doom posting.
Yeah.
Of like, no, everything is fucked. But a point of pay attention to what has happened here because they are flaunting the rules.
Yeah.
Like whatever promise that they made to you about like, this is how you'll be protected and these are the rights that you have.
They're going to come for you as well.
This is a way that they'll come for you. And like, there's been a lot since then where a number of courts, lower courts or appeals courts have like looked at the ruling and tried to apply it practically and gone, actually, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So the lower courts are in a sense disobeying the Supreme Court. The Equalities and Human Rights Commission tried to put out their guidance in April as well. And that then was rejected and they're back to the drawing board because the practical implications of what they suggested don't matter. But the other thing, what it allowed for was, because trans people don't have power, we don't have money, the amount of discrimination that was then possible to happen by institutions who can say, oh, we're following the ruling or we're following the guidance, and they're not, but there's no way for anyone to challenge that.
Yeah.
Like the court cases that are going are because anti-trans groups are funding transphobes to launch cases against trans people. And every now and then a judge on that sees what's going on and tries to protect us and say, no, this is ridiculous. Like you can't, obviously you're trying to discriminate this person. I'm not going to let you do that. But yeah, the Supreme Court ruling just gave that power back to the institutions to say, no, go on, discriminate them, see what they do.
See what they do. Indeed.
And like, on the EHRC guidance that did come out, the interim stuff, because then they had that ready. But yeah, that they published that then while we were at the Diva Awards.
Yes, it was
like
just literally 10 days after. Yeah.
In the middle of the ceremony where we're celebrating queer love and expression and organizations and queer power. It's as if they dropped the guidance just to upset the people in that room. Yeah. Which, ended up being like kind of a bittersweet thing in that as the award ceremony is going on, we're getting all these people going up onto the stage and saying, oh my God, I can't believe they've done this. Fuck that. Like, no, any trans person who's in this room, like we stand with you.
Yeah, that was an interesting experience. So for those who don't know, Diva Magazine is the premier lesbian magazine in the UK. I think that's quite popular internationally as well. But yeah, because of a project that I did with Glitter, which is the grassroots organization that I work with here in Cardiff, Glitter got nominated in the community awards and myself being the only femme person in the Glitter committee, I was the only one that basically could go and we went together to the awards ceremony. And we haven't been living in London for 8 years now. Yeah. Something like that. And it's interesting because possibly, ironically, because I was working in the music industry before, if not the glitz and glam life, I was very adjacent to that. Yeah. I never cared for that. I was always happier.
Yeah, we were on lots of mailing lists that meant that we would get invited to events that we were just like, yeah, we're not going to do anything, but this sounds fun.
Yeah, it's just...
Some of them were more fun than others.
I have conflicting feeling about my previous life exactly because of that. I was always the person that was happy to be backstage and was happy to be left in the office doing work rather than going to awards, events, stuff where you have backstage passes or stuff like that. It wasn't necessarily what I was doing that for. And probably I was the only one. And it showed because then I lacked that kind of connection with other people that were doing those kind of jobs. But we went there and, there was part of me that was kind of starstruck because we managed to meet like Charlie Craggs, and Charlie was walking behind us. Yeah. And apparently Charlie realized, clearly these are two lesbians. If I follow them, I will find the place where the awards are. And when I turned around and Charlie was behind us, I I think I started vibrating, and you had to calm me down. I was like, sweetie, we don't do this in public.
Well, it's not that we don't do this in public. So there's another bit where we get into the awards ceremony, like there's a coat check and you get your photo taken. And so there's a bit where like, actually it's quite overwhelming for me. Like it's very noisy. There's lots going on. It's all quite like official and posh.
Yep, very.
And so I'm in my like, okay, I need to collect my thoughts and understand how to behave in this place because, yeah, this is a big deal with the people that are here.
Yeah, I did not realize that it was going to be that much of a big deal.
Yeah, like we got a Prosecco and I was like, okay, no, I need 5 minutes. Let's go find a bathroom. Let's just chill for 5 seconds. And like as I'm walking past the hall, I see Abigail Thorne walking down the stairs and you behind me grab me and go, oh my God, look who it is. Look who it is. So I'm like, dragged you into the hallway of like, no, we don't do that here. We belong here as much as she does. She is our peer. We are not audience members. At this event, we are just as important and we matter just as much.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, we're not here as fans. We are here as peers and professionals.
Yeah, there was no risk about that. But yeah. No, that was impressive.
Got to meet Pearl Mackie of Doctor Who fame.
Oh, it's so cool. Their wife is so cool,
Yeah.
and they had such cool shoes, and it was just so very generally good and cool. I have this thing where I am, I think, at this point, without even trying, a feminist killjoy. Mm-hmm. And which, by the way, when I met Sarah Hammond was like the moment of my life, having the feminist killjoy handbook signed by her. And it was so cool. And we were fed the wined and dined, even if being like the community representation, we were the diversity within the diversity. And you could tell that everybody else knew each other and we were just brought there because, grassroots, surely, they matter. And so let's just bring people in. And
it's amazing how little people in London remember that Wales exists.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine that counts for everything. Like London is so much its own microcosm that anything outside the M25, it's a legend, really.
Because even like say with Doctor Who, so you have a Doctor Who star. Every scene that almost every scene that Pearl Mackie filmed in Doctor Who was in Cardiff.
Yeah.
Like filmed mostly in Cardiff University.
Yeah.
And yet...
But, Cardiff poses as London in Doctor Who.
Exactly, because Cardiff pretends to be London in Doctor Who. That's what people associate in their heads. They know it's Cardiff, it's meant to be London, so... Yeah, it's just...
So it was very interesting to be there, especially being there, again, not because of, the fancitude of, like, working in music or whatever. It was just literally for the grassroots work that we do. And that was not a grassroots event. That was a very posh and elevated event. And I looked around at some point and I was like, how much money has been spent here? And then the next step was like, how much could we do as grassroots organization if that money, if a fraction of that money had been given to us while we just rely upon, the random grant or the random donation of people that want to support queer people of color.
And then like the absolute cherry on the cake of that was we went to the after party and they started charging for the drinks.
Yeah.
And we were just like, oh, right, if you're not giving us free drinks, we're out.
No, we literally technically almost couldn't afford to be there at all.
Yeah.
So it was a wake up call of you've been graciously invited, but you do not belong here because mainly money.
Yeah.
So I think when we came back and we had all the pictures and it was also fancy and the red carpet with the stuff in the background, and I had to go on a rant saying, why do we spend money this way, basically. I always am a bit of a killjoy.
It was like a couple of years ago we were walking through Mayfair because we wanted to go to the Mayfair market.
There's the picture.
Yeah. But there's this amazing market in Mayfair. There's all like street food and they do great pizza.
And it's in a consecrated church.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Mercato Italiano, that's what it is. Mercato Italiano.
And like, incredible food, great place, great scenery. But just like as we're walking through there, I'm like, I have never wanted to commit arson more in my life.
Yeah. It's, everything is so pretty. Oh, you fucking billionaires that own this place and then, the Grosvenors and whatever. So there's always, I think that will always be something that we have to think about. It just comes to us. What happened in May?
Yeah, moving on to May, I have a completely blank spot.
Well, May, I remember myself that I was the poet in residence for the album launch of Burn the Ladder here in Cardiff.
Yes, true.
Kind of cool, I will not lie.
Yeah, bringing in the spoken word stuff. And then other than that was Doctor Who. The last of the Disney Plus.
Oh.
Doctor Who episodes with Shooty, which we, I mean, Christ.
Yeah.
How did they fuck that up so badly? Like, they have a star-class actor.
Yeah.
And even like, the new companion was great. Another great actress. It's like, throughout the entire Chibnall era, we had this thing in like the Doctor Who fandom of, all these actors are amazing. They're just being given bad scripts. And just when Russell T Davies was re-announced, I was like, oh my God, yes, Russell T Davies is back. We'll get some good scripts finally. And they were just as bad as the Chibnall ones. They're awful.
I think we have seen it even recently in the most recent thing that Russell did with the War Between Land and Sea. Is that the name? So Russell suffers, I think, from what I would describe as cis white gay syndrome, which is technically, I'm sorry, but technically, is the kind of man that under white patriarchy comes even before women. And you can tell that some cis white gays know this and not needing women for anything, including procreation, their hatred sometimes comes through very, very obviously. I don't think Russell necessarily does that, but there are other things that when he tries to understand other marginalizations than his, he doesn't have enough friends to consult him on those matters.
No, he obviously does. I didn't realize this, but say like the actress in the wheelchair who's part of UNIT was in Years and Years.
Yes, I did know.
So they're friends.
Yeah.
Like they work together. They're in contact with each other. At any point, he can ask her about disability rep. But you get this feeling with Russell that when he tries to do something and people go, that wasn't really, like you haven't really got to the core of it there, is he just goes, oh, well, what more do you want from me?
Yeah. It's, which I think, I think it's the kind of defensiveness, and we're speculating here.
Yeah.
But I think that if he does that, it is that kind of defensiveness of, I'm already a white cis gay progressive person that is talking at least about these things, and therefore I will not accept any kind of criticism because I'm already doing my part.
It
makes it hard to improve on things, and it's the catching the pitfall of gratitude. Oh, shouldn't you already be grateful that he at least is talking about it?
Yeah, which
can very much be used against actual progress, because be grateful for what you're given.
Because you get like the finale 2 episodes, or the penultimate episode of the season, where you have this wheelchair user character, and she's in scenes that are about how disabled people are invisible. Because in this alternate reality that's being created, where everything is perfect and fine, disabled people have just been forgotten about, and so they can kind of live outside of the system and the world. And so he's got this idea of like, oh yeah, disabled people are invisible. I can write that into the thing. But also Russell, what's another personality trait of this character other than is in a wheelchair? What does she do? What's her life? What's her story other than wheelchair person?
Yeah.
You get some like snide comments and what's her name? Ruby, like tripping up on different things. And it's like, oh my God. Yeah, not great.
Honestly, I think this is a good occasion as any to ask you. Raven has been thinking about starting a podcast on Doctor Who, because I think that the USP of living in Cardiff, where it's filmed, and with the knowledge, like the lifetime knowledge that that Raven has on Doctor Who. It could be a thing. Let us know if it's something of interest.
Because it's something that I did with, because also in this season was a sequel to the episode Midnight, which is like one of David Tennant's highest rated episodes, like fan favorite, amazing. Right, let's do a sequel, bring back the nostalgia. And I'm like, less stuff happens in this sequel and it still feels rushed. And I'm like trying to analyze between the two, like what's the difference in there? And it's just, it has no soul. It has no grounding. There's no relationships between any of the characters. And I think that's just, what has been missing from this entire season. And I'm, watching like The War Between the Land and the Sea then this month. It's just a case of, I don't know, you're trying to write too many times. The characters don't have any relationships to each other.
Russell is getting lost in a tick box exercise, I 100%. Reckon. I think that's what's happening here.
So moving on to June, we enter Pride Month.
Pride Month. Should be Wrath Month, really, according to you, rightfully.
Yeah. No, so that's, I think this year was Wrath Month because of the Supreme Court stuff. I'm like, I'm not doing Pride, I'm just doing Wrath. Knives out, I'm coming for you all. It's like a classic thing where after Pride Month every year, all the queer people are like, okay, now Pride Month is over. Now it's time for Wrath. And it's like, no, July is Disability Awareness Month. So if you want to do Wrath Month, let's make it instead of Pride, not take over other months.
I genuinely think that in June I was so tired that we barely managed to do the Big Bear picnic. And
we very nearly didn't go.
Yeah, so I genuinely have no memory of most of June and May.
So, What It Feels Like for a Girl came out.
That it did.
We did a video about it.
We did a video about it because we were extras in it.
Yeah.
And
also filmed in Cardiff.
Some representation is better than no representation.
I disagree with that. I think that show should never have been made.
I get it.
I think that Byron's performance of a trans woman is a hate crime.
I think actually, you're very right. That's the issue. People think that some representation is better than no representation, but that's the difference between visibility and representation.
Yeah.
And visibility is the cookie that the system gives to pacify marginalized people. And I think that What It Feels Like for a Girl was exactly that.
Yep.
And it shows. And I think, I don't know, it's so frustrating to see cis people pat themselves on the back when they congratulate Paris on the amazing work that she has done. And I don't think necessarily that Paris has been slagged off by the trans community much.
Oh, that was the other thing that happened at the Oscars was Zoe Saldana winning Best Actress for, what was that film even called?
Emilia Perez?
Yeah, Emilia Perez. And it's like, if that doesn't illustrate to people the control that media has over visibility and representation, like nothing else does. Where even when they're trying to be transphobic in hiring this person, and the only trans woman they could get willing to be in this fucking movie turns out to be like virulently racist and
yeah. I mean, there's because
there was a kickoff. TERFs kicked off about that show because they changed the name to What It Feels Like for a Girl because of the Supreme Court ruling. Yeah. And like, how can the BBC allow a TV program to say what it feels like for a girl when clearly it's a man? And like the characterization, the writing and the acting didn't really help fight against that accusation, to be honest.
I think that incurs in the issue that we talk about a lot recently, which is identity politics and the framework. Yeah. Remember that you're working in a framework. Paris, I do not doubt that that's your experience. Can you please not claim that that's necessarily good just because you survived it? Mm. Yeah, I do worry at times that when airtime is given to essentially marginalized authors, is just so that they can talk about their marginalizations and people can do the box ticking exercise. Yep. And this shows, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. The only other thing that happened in June was the discovery, I think the discovery anyway, of 3i Atlas. The comet that is flying into our solar system from outside the solar system. It's not an object that's been kicked out in from the Kuiper Belt. Like, this is an interstellar object that's very important, because if we can get analysis of it, we can learn more about how things form in other parts of the galaxy. That's very cool. And then I've had great fun since then, like the entire last 6 months, getting videos in my Instagram feed of like the JWST supposed footage of 3i Atlas. And there's images where you have like these strange AI generated giraffe creatures throwing rocks at each other. You had an astronomer who got into a Twitter spat with Brian Cox, because this astronomer believes that this is clearly an alien spacecraft that is flying into our solar system. And Brian's like, obviously it's a comet.
There is another issue to AI that I didn't go into, but we can go quickly into. I don't think that it's by chance that it's been pushed so much now, because it manages to do two things at the same time that are at complete odds. Stop. Where at the same time, we have allowed large language models and image generators to create images and videos that can pass to some people for real. And at the same time, everything real that people don't want to be called real, they can throw now the suspicious accusation, oh, surely it's AI.
Yeah, you get simultaneous, no, it's true, I read it on ChatGPT. No, that's not true, it's AI generated from the same person. Absolutely insane.
Which I think very much favors fascism, because basically not only allows Trump to do the videos of Trump Gaza. Yeah, and
the number of images he's made and posted on Truth Social of him sat in an emperor's chair.
Yeah, but at the same time, if he appears in the Epstein files, that's AI, cannot be real.
So actually, the 3i Atlas was in July. So yeah, we have moved on from June into July. Other things that happened in July, we have the Sydney Sweeney has great genes advert. Came out in July, which seems insane that was 5 months ago. Like the last half of this year has already flown by. I remember looking into this stuff like, oh, what, that was this year? Like it seems so far away, the first half of the year. And then when it comes to Sydney Sweeney has great genes, that feels like it's just happened. I wish, unfortunately, my grandparents died too long ago, because this is exactly the kind of stuff that I would go and ask them. And I was like, is this what it was like to live in Italy in 1921? Is this what was happening? Yeah. Because it feels surreal, but it's happening shamelessly, isn't it? I bought a great pair of jeans recently. Like in the H&M like Black Friday sales, I got a fantastic pair of jeans, and I'm just like wearing them, looking in the mirror, and because I'm autistic, my brain is fucking stimming off that phrase of like, damn, these are great jeans. And at the same time, my like leftist mindset is going, stop fucking thinking that. You can't say that anymore. She's fucked it up for us.
She's fucked it up. Gosh.
Well, recently she's tried to walk it back because she's realized the backlash. So she's like, no, I am against hate. I'm against white supremacy. And it's like, well done. You now pissed off everyone because you had the chance to deny it when we gave it to you. You didn't take it. And now you're doing it. Absolutely.
Is it around the same time that Keira Knightley pretended to not know about
roughly,
the controversy of J.K. Rowling? And when asked, she was like, yeah, no, I didn't know. Yeah. And I know that a lot of people are like defending. It was a nervous laughter. I was like,
if it's a nervous laughter, then you know.
I'm fucking done with white women.
Yeah.
I'm fucking done with white women. That's the thing.
Also in July, bats. We started doing, because the heat wave.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's when we first started doing our nightly bat walks.
It's just weird to jump from, international world events and our own life. That's weird, bizarre. Like I wouldn't necessarily elevate our life to worldly events. But this is happening.
No, yeah, because we had the heat wave. It was over 30 degrees in Cardiff. We were dying throughout the day and just like desperate for any opportunity to cool down. Our house is actually very good at retaining heat.
Yeah.
It's like, so we got cold stone walls. It's kind of like a cottage. That means that when heat waves come along, it takes a while for our house to heat up.
Yeah, but once it does,
we're fucked.
Yeah.
So we spent like the first half of July with the windows like locked shut, and then it overheated and we had to let the air out again. But yeah, because of that, then we're like, okay, we have to go out because we're just like dying and getting depressed because we're melting on the sofa. So we started doing our nightly walks and discovered that there's we know of it, but this canal that's nearby. If you get to a certain point, you can watch the bats fly around. And I think we started watching What We Do in the Shadows TV show again. So yeah, it's just us going through this canal, walking, just going, bat.
At some point there was a ratto as well.
Yeah.
Like the fauna of Cardiff coming out.
I think that was later in August. We went and we were like too early for the bats because we just like wanted to get out of the house. But then we sat down to have a little picnic in this nice little area that's by this canal. And then we're just watching this rat run out from the bushes, pick up some seeds to bring back to its nest, run back into the thing. I was like, oh, well, no bats, but bonus rat. Yay.
Bonus rat.
And then we move on to August, which was Kunks.
Yeah. So Ren knew about the exhibition at Elysium and asked me, would you like to submit something? Would like to have something of yours? And once again, I said yes before having a piece or even just a theme in mind. And the theme then was queer worlds. And I decided that there was a poem that I accidentally, like that's the thing, I never started off thinking that I would be a canvas or a multidisciplinary artist. I write poetry-ish and I do spoken word poetry. That's it. And accidentally now it has become that when I do a work on canvas, it's based on something that I've written and I like the written word to be part of it. So similar in a way to my first piece, this one had a canvas where I literally wrote in Sharpie a poem and then I did a collage on top of that, trying to be thematic. And the theme, admittedly, was wealth inequality, which then became sort of the theme of the things that I've done in the last few months. So yeah, that was the second exhibition, very true.
It was interesting going to that as well, where I realized, like I've had the work that I've done over the years and I haven't done a new project really.
In 3 years now.
3 years or so, working on that. But like then we went there and I saw another photographer who'd put work up and I went, oh, I could have done that. Like I have work that would have fit for that.
That's a great thing though. Like a lot of people take competition and that kind of rivalry as a good thing. And I think that that's never the point. I don't like that. But I always find it interesting when you go to an exhibition and you're like, it gives you an idea to actually value what you've done because you see the value in what this person has done.
You see it in yourself and you start to value
that. Yeah, because you're like, oh no, if I had done that, I wouldn't feel like it's worth being called art. But this person has done it. I call it art. I like to see it here and it makes me realize that maybe it's worth for me to do something like this.
Yeah. It's also just like so it's like, I like to think of myself as someone who understands briefs and like interview questions and what people mean with those things. But actually I have like kind of a one track thing when it comes to that.
Oh.
So I can interpret it in one way. And when it comes to like an arts brief on we want work that explores these themes, that's where I fall down, where I get into my head of like, oh, it means this. I haven't done work for this, but actually there's like 5 other ways that it could be interpreted. And if you submit and just try and make a case for it, often people will go, yeah, don't tell me.
Yeah, totally. No, I liked that, despite the fact that it was an unpaid gig. Because it was the first exhibition that then I got in Cardiff and I live here, so I liked that.
Right in the town centre as well.
Yeah, and I liked to be alongside the other artists that were chosen. The first cohort of artists that I had the exhibition was very varied. Like I think it was me and another artist of 10 that actually had work on canvas. So it was very, very eclectic. This felt somehow closer to what I do, the other people. So it sort of gave me the vague perception that there is a community that potentially I could tap into. I think by the second half of 2025, it became very apparent that I want more of the local community.
Yeah.
I think something that also happened at some point during this year, we discovered that one of our favorite video essayists, which is Cottage and Bowie, she decided to not publish videos anymore and just focus on local, just focus on like
events, bringing people in.
Yeah, doing events live, going to libraries, going to shops and talk to people, which for someone as big as her, and she took off during the first lockdowns, I think, it's a choice.
Yeah.
And I understand that choice. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't think I can ever leave the digital side of things, because not only for popularity or money, should it even ever come, but because having not the distance, but the delay in doing a digital piece of content is what my autistic brain needs.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot constantly be around people. I would argue that I can be around people maybe once a month, maybe. So, I still have a much more urgent need to still communicate with people, though, other than just once a month. So digital content works for me for that.
Yeah.
But I did appreciate that. I was like, I see what you're doing there, Khadija, and I want that to...
In September, then, we have the Gen Z revolution in Nepal.
Right, yes.
I think it was. Which, I remember everyone being very excited about, because there's this idea in the West, the revolution is dead. That we're just not... Like, Britain had its chance to do a French revolution to overthrow the monarchy, and we didn't. We just didn't. It wasn't really even attempted. And so there's kind of this idea that since the USSR, the Red October revolution in 1917, that generally we've kind of lost our revolutionary spirit. Like, France does revolutions. You had the civil rights movement in the 60s that was getting kind of close to that, was affecting real change. But in a very real sense, like, since the 90s at the very least, the idea of us having a Western revolution to overthrow, like, the American government or the British government
seems more and more unlikely.
Yeah. It seems difficult to do. And so when we get these stories, like, since the Arab Spring, people overthrowing governments, it's like, oh, so it is technically possible. Like, if you can mobilize enough people, get enough people into the streets, that it overpowers the military, overpowers the government, that maybe real change can be effected. And what everyone seems to always miss when these things happen is just how directed these revolutions are by outside forces.
It did sound a lot to me like the experiment that Cambridge Analytica ran in Trinidad and Tobago.
100%.
Yeah.
And looking at the Arab Spring, we attributed that to WikiLeaks and Julian Assange. And then, again, so we can't really tell on this, because Russia's great at this, on destabilizing people through misinformation.
Yeah.
So you can't know what's real. But it has kind of come out, from what I can tell, that a lot of WikiLeaks information was provided by Russia.
Right.
So Russia was destabilizing the Middle East, because that's historically ruined the Western economy.
Yeah.
Like the oil crisis in the 1970s, the Gulf Wars, like, all of those things have destabilized American and British economies. And so it seems like Russia was trying to do the same thing again by creating these revolutions. In a sense, they led to ISIS and ISIL, and we've now overthrown the Syrian government, and there's just constant conflict. Egypt has been flipped back and forth on different governments over and over and over again ever since, and created these huge issues, which is exactly what Russia wants, because it provides cheap oil and gas. From Siberia. And it's just, when it came out, I'm like, something's off here.
Yeah, I had the same feeling, and I was like, I understand why it sounds so cool that they elected their first prime minister through Discord poll, But at the same time, I don't think we would give, I don't know, I don't think Western media would allow it so much attention if there wasn't something in it for them.
Yeah. And there's been a couple more since then.
Yeah.
In the same story. They're practicing something. Like this is, not to sound conspiracy theorist, but there absolutely is nefarious forces trying to control populations and trying to create instability to someone's benefit.
Yeah.
And it's going to take us a while to see
where this is actually going. Yeah. I think on a personal level, September was also the most recent phase of Witches for Palestine. We went to Bristol to do the talk at the Haunted Bookshop, which if you are around the southwest of England, I absolutely advise you 100%. Go and check out.
Especially because they do so many different events.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. As soon as the weather and the light allow, we plan to go to one of their monthly coven meetups.
And their bat walks again.
So you might even find us there if you come around Bristol. Hey, we'll leave a link to their socials down in the description, wherever you are.
I've also apparently written down Charlie Kirk throat goat.
Oh my gosh, yes, that happened in September as well, didn't it?
Yeah, which I think also means Solitary Witches came out in September as well.
Yeah. No, Solitary Witches is more recent.
Well, I did
Solitary Witches is October.
I remember being like a couple of weeks after the Charlie Kirk thing. But
no, Solitary Witches is because I'll tell you for why. So yeah, Charlie Kirk happened, and
September 10th.
Yeah, and because September 8th or 9th there was the Jezebel article about we paid some Etsy witches to curse Charlie Kirk.
Yeah,
and then immediately the publisher's note: we do not condone violence, and we. So it took us 2 weeks, I think, to then talk properly about it. Also because, surprisingly, we were actually waiting to understand what had happened.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people were first hailing at a second sort of Luigi Mangione situation. And I was like, I don't know, Luigi had a plan. Allegedly Luigi Mangione.
Someone
allegedly.
had a plan.
Someone had a plan and, all those kind of things. I don't think that this is necessarily the same thing. And indeed, it was fascinating to see the evolution of that from the right-wing people to we need to kill them all, the transes, to actually we need to learn forgiveness. It was very interesting to see that evolution. The more they realized, it's a cis white guy from a right-wing family. So it's always interesting to see that. The great friend of Charlie Kirk, what is his name, Miles something, decided to anticipate the publishing of his book Pagan Threat.
Yeah, that was good.
To late September, because can I not capitalize on the death of my good friend who wrote the intro to Pagan Threat? Yeah. So that was it. So it's always fascinating to see what is the cement that binds these people together, and usually it's popularity and money.
So yeah, also then in September, we had the lovely visit to London with Sofia Righetti.
Righetti, not the Garnau.
Righetti, not the Gare.
It's beautiful to hear you speak Italian, my love, or attempt to.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you people don't know Sofia, you should know Sofia. Sofia is a podcast in Italian that is called Streghe, which is witches, and is a very amazing disability rights activist and witch in Italy. The fun story about myself and Sofia is that I knew of Sofia by fame. When we opened our first video essay channel in 2021, Sofia was one of the activists and sources that I followed and learned about and used in our first essay, which was about Italian culture. Because it was very consoling to see that things have changed in the last 20 years in Italy since I had to escape, basically. And I knew of her, like there were like 5-10 people that told me Italy has gotten better. One of them was Sofia. And in summer of 2024, I want to say, I get a DM and my thought, I see the name and I see that it's Sofia, and I get it on my account, Activist Twitch, which wasn't following Sofia. I was following Sofia from my personal and previous account. And I see that and I'm like, oh, so you know what this is? Someone has cloned her account pretending to be Sofia and getting in touch with people that follow her.
Yeah.
And instead I check the DM and it's actually Sofia. Sofia had seen Capitalism in Cottagecore and had come to find me because I think she realized I was also Italian and it was surreal. And we just became friends. Like Sofia, I mentioned it, I think, before, if not in a video here. Sofia is the only person that I still speak Italian to. Lorenzo as well, but Lorenzo maybe I hear from less often.
Yeah.
Sofia is the only person in 20 years that has managed to make me talk in Italian regularly again. And that's no mean feat.
Yeah.
And she was coming to London. And I was like, well, London is 2 hours away. I'll find a way to come. And so we spent an amazing day together.
I think that's been the most fun I've ever had in London.
I think. And there was a lot to do. Like, we're not used to do that much in one day. But it was worth to just compress stuff and do stuff and experience stuff together.
Yeah.
Like, it's different when you get to experience the world with someone that share the vision of the world with you. And there are not so many people that I feel exist that share our vision of the world. Sofia is one of those few. Yeah. And we were with Sofia, with our friend Freddie and Sarah, which we stayed at. Usually when we go in London, we stay at theirs. They're so kind to host us. And because actually we were even planning on just doing like go back and forth, which you would have killed us. I'd have no doubt that, you know, with the chronic pain and everything that we experienced, it would have probably, taking a train to London and then a train back from London in the same day, it would have damaged us severely. It already did, doing it in a...
Like, I would have said no. Like, when it came to doing that, I would have been like, no, I can't go. Like, if you're taking me there and taking me back, that's not going to happen. But yeah, if we're going to stay in London for a night, that's fine,
it was amazing because we accidentally realized when the five of us were all there together, it was like, well, we made a coven here. We made a coven. Which we have actually, a group chat now that it's peppermint because of how peppermint grows and spreads like sort of a weed. Because we found ourselves together. We're not gonna let go, and that's that. Yeah, that was a very good September. All good things happened in September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In October, then. Not to bring a massive dampener on it, despite actually how it sounds, we got the Gaza ceasefire.
What a joke. Yeah. What a joke that was. What a joke. No, that's like, if you've never noticed before, or if you've ever wondered, what does it actually mean, propaganda, in modern day time? It just means the headlines will tell you to chill when facts have not changed. And Israel is still killing without any kind of control or remorse, despite the fact that officially there's a ceasefire.
I think, one of the worst things I saw came out of it that just actually boiled my blood was the airstrikes that the IDF sent after just Gaza civilian area where they're trying to move back into their rubble. And they started putting artillery fire back into the city because a Israeli development firm was driving bulldozers through the rubble to start rebuilding their resorts and stuff that they're going to sell to Americans, drove over an unexploded artillery shell and blew themselves up. And the IDF were just like, oh, here's an excuse. Yeah, no, Hamas did it. But bomb, killed however many dozens of people doing that. And it was like, it was the colonizers moving in to colonize the land, blew themselves up in a place that wasn't safe, that they weren't allowed to be in. But no, it's Hamas's fault, and therefore we need to kill children and mothers and whoever's left hobbling back to their home. Like, absolutely absurd. That's just the story. This is every day. There's stuff like that.
Yeah, I can only hope that what's been going on since October 7 is getting through people's mind more, that everything that is being covered under the generic blanket of anti-Semitism was actually the resistance of people that have been eradicated from their homes since 1948, arguably since 1917 or 1897, actually the first Zionist Congress in Basel. But yeah, I think we mentioned it in a previous episode. Something that I think it's worth mentioning, with all his faults, the reason why Jeremy Corbyn was ousted as leader of the Labour Party was the accusation of anti-Semitism against him. And the accusation of anti-Semitism was simply because he was a supporter of a free Palestine.
Yep.
So I think it's interesting to finally see that people are understanding the difference between anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism, and the simple presence of so many Jewish people that are anti-Zionists, that are telling us it's not fair for Israel to exist on the bones and the back of Palestine.
You have the UK government classing protest phrases as hate crimes and hate speech.
Yeah, now everybody's a terrorist. Now everybody's a terrorist if they dare saying something about Palestine action.
Honestly, so there's a point of the powers that came in after 9/11 and 7/7 in the UK, the new terrorism powers, where if something is... I saw something recently that was like a legal case where a Muslim man in America was arrested. And this is an essay written by a defense lawyer. And when she got to the court, she was shocked to find that she wasn't allowed to see the evidence against him.
Yes.
And so the Department of Justice or the DA or whoever would take the judge into a back room, show them something, and the judge would come out and say, okay, because of what I've been shown, no, he can't have bail. No, he can't have this. And
you can't fight it because you don't know what you've been accused of. Yeah.
And somehow she managed to get access to the evidence files. And it was a series of Google searches that were coming from this man's computer. And so she spoke to him about it and was like, okay, can you explain these? And he had a story for every single one of them. Because of the terrorism powers of the national security stuff, he wasn't allowed to defend himself. She wasn't allowed to defend him. And actually, it was just he was looking up craft supplies for his daughter's school project and his wife's business. But because they got flagged as a terrorism thing because he's a Muslim man in a Muslim family, he lost all of his rights. And there was a lot of people outright pointing correctly that these new powers are going to be used in this way. And I don't think we've really gotten to see the full effect of that until this last year, with the just sheer abuse coming from the Labour governments in the name of protecting Israel as a state. High state interest in a foreign state than there are into this country. It's absolutely absurd.
Anything happened in our life?
We went to Castle Goch.
Oh, was it November? October?
Yeah, that was our October trip where we did the mushroom foraging. It wasn't meant to be mushroom foraging.
No, but we took mushrooms pictures.
And films, yeah.
We ventured up.
Because you decided to take a route not before trodden.
I haven't. Oh, okay. No. It's not. No. According to the trails of Wales maintained by, the councils, that is an existing trail.
And when we got there, what did we see? At the beginning of the trail.
Well, it was debatable what it actually meant. That it was closed in March or April, but for a certain amount of days. Mm-hmm. So technically the days had expired at that point.
Honestly, it was a very nice walk. I agree. It was a very good walk. There was lots of fun paths going up on the side of the cliff, getting the view over Tong Gwynlai. Was very nice. We found many, many mushrooms that I've never seen before. Mm-hmm. And then we get to Castle Goch and...
So Castle Goch is under refurbishment in the last year and a half. And the way that this path arrives to Castle Goch is from the back. And the back was cut off by the scaffolding.
Yeah, and we had to walk all the way down.
Well, not all the way down, but we still cut through because we didn't have to go next to the main road. But we got down to the bottom of the hill in Tong Gwynlai, and then we still had to do the hill to go up to the castle.
Then we went around at the longer, harder path.
Yeah. We found a ravine.
Yeah, we found the ravine.
We never found a ravine before.
The cave in the ravine.
And yeah, it was nice.
Yeah,
it was
I got to do my like weird hobbit crouch thing in the.
You're very cute.
In the hovels. And my new dungarees. Thank you very much.
It's very good dungarees on you.
November, obviously.
November, we went to the Cottage.
Yes.
We went there for almost a week, almost an entire week. It's the first time since we go back to the Wye Valley that we can actually stay almost the same amount of time that we stayed for our honeymoon. We first went there for our honeymoon in 2016. And at the time, I think we stayed 10 days because we asked people not to give us gifts because we were living in a tiny flat in London. We couldn't have fit stuff. So we asked for donations toward our honeymoon, really. Yeah. And so we could afford 10 days in a cottage in November.
So we did 4 days in the Monk's Hall.
We did like 5 and 7, something like that.
Yeah.
5 days and 7 days. So it was very
one
nice.
day in the Monk's Hall, which was this like ancient 3-story stone house where there was this like doorway and a plaque, or in the book about it, there's a story that there used to be a tunnel that ran from the Monk's Hall to Tintern Abbey that the monks would run to escape from the Protestant Reformation. So they could hide there, which is really nice. We did very bad fireplace practice
at the time,
because we left the gate open on the stove.
But now we are professionlike setting up a fire.
Oh yeah, you can check out our vlog.
Yeah, we did.
All of that.
I didn't realize that it would have got that long. Like it's like an hour long, and it's literally spending every day with us.
Because we've done a lot of attempts at vlogs before, and we're really bad at just filming enough stuff. And there's just, I think, because of these phones, like there's such good filmers.
Yeah.
That we would just like had the phones out constantly filming everything.
We didn't have to have actually the camera, so that helped. What else happened in?
Zohran Mamdani was elected New York mayor.
Oh well, technically, if we go there, we should then bring up Polanski as well, who was elected as the leader of the Greens in September.
September, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's a very these turnarounds of realizing, okay, if we have hardcore fascism, we need to bring back hardcore leftism and socialism back as well, because we can go then in the discussions of, I would argue that it's not a matter of democracy just because fascism is bad. So it doesn't matter if you have a majority of people that want to be fascism. Fascism is still bad. And so if democracy would lead to fascism, you need to stop it anyway.
So because you have democratic socialism, which is like, okay, we're going to take power and then we're going to do referendums on socialist policies. So if the people vote for socialism, we will enact socialism. There's a new kind that's come out, which is democratic fascism, where they want to run referendums on whether or not there should be an authoritarian ruler.
Wow.
And so like that will be the last referendum.
Yeah.
Because everyone goes, okay, do we want to elect this person as our supreme leader that can just go off and do whatever they want? And if people vote for it, then yeah. If they don't vote for it, then the supreme leader will just step down. Obviously, that's going to happen. Sorry.
I think we need a bit more care about these things. I will always defer people to learn about the paradox of tolerance of Karl Popper, because I thought that everybody knew about it. They even made a very nice infograph, all with comics. You learn about it in 6 to 8 vignettes. It's very, very interesting. You should learn about it. That's why it doesn't matter if the majority even of people want to be fascists and want to deport people and want to be actually kill LGBTQ people. You don't do those things. Why? Because infringing on someone else's freedom of existence will mean that eventually everybody's freedom of existence will be impacted. But
So there was something very interesting as well that came out with Zohran Mamdani, where you had a lot of like hard leftists, like genuinely hard.
I can't imagine hard leftists in America, but it's good to know.
Yeah, no, they exist. But they were kind of going like, this is still electoralism. Like whatever he's promising and the stuff that he's pushing for, like remember he is an elected politician.
Yeah.
The system of politics has not changed.
Yeah.
Like voting in someone like Zohran Mamdani is not a revolution in which you change how the system works. Like to take it back to the Nepal thing and the Red October. And so when he gets into power, and this was borne out, he has to navigate within the system.
Yeah.
The system, people think like the system is, it is like made up by politicians, but it's a network of politicians who maintain the status quo together, and they look after each other's and their own interests. And so everything is quid pro quo. It's all backroom deals. It's all.
Who did that amazing video about the key holders? It's worth linking.
CGP Grey.
Yeah, that explains so well.
So you want to be
politics.
a benevolent. You want to be a benevolent dictator. Okay, this is what you have to contend with.
Yeah.
No man may rule alone. And so, the second that Zohran Mamdani is in, then he starts appointing. He appointed some good people to his cabinet, but then also, I think there's a Israeli supporting governor or senator or something, and he put his backing behind them, despite being like one of the biggest proponents of a free Palestine.
Yeah.
Because he needs support.
Yeah. Yeah, and unfortunately, it's the issue of the system. Like, the master's tool will never dismantle the master's house. So once you dance in it, you still need to play by the key holders and all of that. And rightfully, people that have voted him in thinking that this is going to be the beginning of the revolution are getting disappointed because it still has to play by the rules of the system. And you need a general agreement to bypass the system, which is concerningly. The good news is that it can be done.
Yeah.
The bad news is that the best example that we have seen of bypassing the system by agreement of a large amount of people is the Trump administration.
Yeah.
And the shit that they are doing and playing around, like closing parts of the government and just, it's done. But the judges have ordered you not to do it. Well, I've done it.
Yeah.
And that's scary. Like, I guess the good part is, if you get enough consensus or you can blackmail enough people, I guess, you can bypass the rules.
Whatever,
But at the same time, it's currently being done by fascism.
Yeah, and I was like, you need to be realistic as a member of the left that, you can't put all your faith in these politicians to enact change. You have to recognize what their limits are to still support the change that they can enact, recognize the change that they can't, and then find a way to enact that change yourself.
Yeah, but
people put too much faith in like, this is going to be the one that changes things. Physically, they cannot. The only thing that will change it is revolution. Are you ready for revolution?
I think people,
if you're not, then this is what you've got. If you want to be, get ready.
I think the reason why people want to give so much, to have so much faith and to give so much power, hopefully, to politicians from the left is exactly because they don't have the energy, the ability, or the time to both survive late stage capitalism and enact anything.
Yeah.
They need someone to delegate that to. And that originally was the reason for politicians. You get voted in because you represent the interest of these people that cannot represent themselves otherwise. And unfortunately, we have got to a point where, indeed, like the level of energy that is required for mere survival, and that's why housing, healthcare, and food are not enshrined in law as human rights, because if you keep people working for their ability to live, which is, food, shelter, and health, if they are too busy keeping themselves surviving, they cannot do much else.
Yeah. And it's an issue we're going to have with Zack Polanski as well in this country. Say by some miracle he becomes prime minister in 2029, the markets are going to shit the bed. And when the markets shit the bed, the pressure that he is going to be under to do that, and
that's how they ousted Liz Truss, isn't it?
Like he makes a big talk about what he thinks that is possible for a government to do and how to not be beholden to those powers. But saying that and being under that much pressure from the papers, from the rest of Parliament, from members in his own party, when it happens, it's going to be tough. And I'll be fascinating to see.
The power given to money, essentially, banks, has been such, especially since, was it Blair that gave back? So it's such that it's going to be very hard to wrestle it back. And when you can be threatened by inflation, if you don't do what billionaires want, essentially, it's hard. They can oust politicians that way because it very easily go into your budget is not passed. And if your budget is not passed, there's a vote of no confidence. Yep. And then the next one comes and the next one comes until they bend the knee to money, essentially.
Yep. All right, moving on to the last but not best month of the year, December this year. So yeah, obviously we have our podcast that we started.
Yes, indeed. Is it December? Oh, wow.
Yeah, we started it in December because we started listening to Before We Break Up Again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, we've had this idea for ages, but discovering Before We Break Up Again and listening to it and going...
So you know what I said before about there's no good in looking at the work of another artist and feeling the competition. And I still think that. However,
in the same way, like we were saying, right? I saw a photographer who submitted work to that exhibition where I went, oh, I could have done this. Like
let's say it like that.
I was too much of a critic to myself. I'm like, this looks good.
Yeah.
I appreciate the work that's gone into this. And also it's very similar to what I do. And so therefore I could have done that just fine. Yeah, discovering Before We Break Up Again by Alfie Brown and Jesse Cave. And
I'm not going to tag them.
No, but seeing the way that it was done and how they run their podcast and how they talk to each other and the topics that they bring up, there's just a case of like, oh, why am I holding myself to such a high standard?
Yeah, let's say that. Yes, that's exactly that. Like because there have been so many conversations in the last year and a half that we start having just sitting on this couch.
Yeah.
And I just turn on the phone to record us because it's so interesting. And I'm like, I have never done this reasoning. Maybe we can use it, for an essay, for research. And it has happened so many times that I have so many files at this point.
Yeah.
And I think it just took the time and effort to go like, okay, what if we record it because we mean to record it and not just because we're talking to each other? So this is what started that.
I mean, so I think for myself, I just need an archetype in my head to be like, okay, I'm going to do it like this.
So you needed an Alfie or a Jesse to pour yourself into.
Yeah, because if I look
Who the fuck am I? No, I don't want to know.
No, because you don't need it. You just like have your...
I have my camera persona.
Yeah, and you're very good at that. But for me, it's like, so when I did the Divine Transfeminism video.
Yeah.
I'd been watching a lot of Angela Collier videos.
Yes.
And so I was... Oh, no, it wasn't the Divine Transfeminism. It was the one about... I did about contact.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what was it?
Oh... Was that like the poetry of magic?
Yes.
Because it's very similar to Solitary Witches and like the search for meaning, and meaning is what matters. But I'd been watching Angela Collier, and because I had like Angela Collier's voice in my head... Of like, okay, this is a person who just sits down in front of the camera and talks. I can embody that energy, and that allows me to speak in a way.
It's an archetype of sorts.
Yes, I have an archetype that I run in my head. I'm like, okay, I can do it like that. And we've done podcasts before, and I don't like the way that I speak in them. Something about my cadence, the way that I enunciate things, the rate of my speech, I stumble over words, I mumble a little bit. And so I just needed to listen to someone podcasting where I could go, oh, I can do that with my voice.
Okay.
I can speak like that. I can run it like that. And listening to Before We Break Up Again, it's just something about the way Alfie spoke clicked in my head of like, okay, this is a way that it can be done and it sounds good and I like this. Like as much as I hate them both and everything about them, like they made a good podcast. It's high production value. The way that they speak is well recorded. It's well metered. It's in the performance aspect of it, there's something that just gels with me. I'm like, this is listenable.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. It's undeniable. And I was just glad that we could start on that. And I had the ambition, I think actually genuinely 3 months ago, something like that. Yeah. At the time of the Florence essay.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I want an outlet where I can talk to people that don't necessarily have to do, even with the intersection of witchcraft and activism, but I want to learn their take on life. And so I wanted to have Zoe on, I wanted to have Julie on, I wanted to have Mikael on. And I was like, I understand that if I go to these people as activist Twitch, there might be a slight amount of friction there.
Yeah.
In what? Do you hold the hides of newt in your, like, it's been an answer that I've got. And so back to the idea of legitimacy, I was like, if I do something, and then accidentally, the stuff that I started to write on Substack, not necessarily that it deviated, but expanded much further than simply the representation of witchcraft as rebellion to the system. There's still a lot of that, but like, even in the last essay on poverty, actually, yes, there is a vague mention of, the way that power establishes itself, the zeal of the convert, and the fact that the people that I can the least talk about, the fact that I have tarot cards, are my Christian friends of color.
Yeah.
So, it seeps through, but it's not based on the cornerstone of witchcraft and activism. And I wanted to have the chance to talk to these people that essentially the entire reason behind anything that I've ever done, when I wanted to work in music and then when I started to do other kinds of content, it's always this idea of reaching out to kindred spirits or people that potentially, again, can see the world the way that I do.
You just like to talk.
I like to talk, but I also like the recognition.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, I don't want recognition in the sense of popularity. I want recognition of somebody that thinks something about something the way that I do, and therefore I see the value in them and they see the value in me. Yeah. We found each other. Like, my entire existence is based on the hope of finding these sparks, quite literally, these potential kindred spirits. And so I was like, why can't I have a platform where I have the reasonable, legitimate excuse to invite these people in? And so, I remember asking Zoe back in September, is there a way that I can bring together like witchcraft and music and, feminist theory together? And she sent me to Julie, and then I was like, I want to talk to you both.
Yeah.
And so it was the idea of a podcast. And then finally in December, we brought these together, and it became the name of the Substack and of the podcast. Because it's also one word, because we tried different ideas, the meaning of life, and I was like, everything. Yeah,
because
nothing delivers.
Because Gin and Teacups used to be life, death, and supermarkets was the idea for the interviews.
Yeah.
Which is kind of that. So, maybe the meaning of life. And, we have a few names that we thought up for it.
Scintillae is, it's one word. There weren't podcasts with that name specifically. There were names based on the word also scintilla, but not just that. And so I was like, fine, it's unique enough. And it's a word of Italian derivation, of Latin derivation. So it seemed to have lots of it. I think the last part of December, I don't know, do we want to talk about it here?
Oh, I was going to say, to close it off then, did you have a lovely Christmas?
What's the right answer?
I mean, we had a nice Christmas. Where the last week we have basically been in quarantine.
Yeah.
We're unable to do family Christmas because you managed to not contract, but
redevelop
shingles.
Yeah.
You've had this like rash on your back for the last 2-3 weeks where it's just like, oh no, it's just hives. Like you were concerned about it, but I was like, no, it's fine. Like,
but I've never had hives though.
Yeah. But I was like, it's post-COVID. Our immune systems are totally fucked. This is just the kind of thing that happens to neurodivergent, chronically ill people. And then like the 23rd, you're like, I'm going to try and get a doctor's appointment to see because something's not right here. And then he takes one look and goes, oh no, you got shingles.
Yeah, and I've been on antiviral, five 800 milligrams antiviral per day.
Yeah,
I have to put on alarms to get it.
Because there's the interesting side of it, which is for you to get it so young.
Yeah.
Says that there's something wrong with your immune system.
Yeah.
But also, you didn't react to it. You didn't have a fever. You didn't have aches until you took the antivirals.
The antiviral slapped me in the face.
Yeah.
Like the day that I took the antiviral, by the evening I had fever. I was dizzy. I had to be in bed. Like literally, it reminded me of when I did vaccines. And you develop in a way a light form, but a form nonetheless.
Like I was totally fine until the day before you went to the GP, where I was putting cream on the rash and I was like putting an ice cube on it to stop the itchiness. And then turns out, it's highly contagious by touch.
Exactly, because.
And so, the day is Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve, I just get hit by a truck and I'm just like totally laid out on the sofa, pains everywhere. Like I've pushed myself to cook Christmas dinner.
You shouldn't have.
I shouldn't have, but we had all this food. Like I was looking at it and like, actually we bought way too much stuff. The dates were coming to an end on a lot of things. I'm like, we've spent so much money. I'm not wasting it on that.
No fair.
If I cook it, then we have 3 more days to eat it. So like, I was doing easy stuff where I was prepping everything one at a time.
When I started to see that you had made the roasties and then put them in the fridge, I was like, we are doing it too big again.
Yeah.
There are going to be too many plates.
I think the thing that I didn't realize I made the most of was the carrots. Why? Like they're amazing carrots, but like I put carrots on my plate, you put carrots on your plate. And then the next day when I was making the festive pasties and sausage rolls, the crisp sausage rolls, I was like, so much carrot. I can't, if I use all this carrot, it's going to be a mostly carrot leftovers. It's like that was the hardest thing to get through. It was just like, I cooked so many fucking carrots.
They were very good. Everything was very good. But I think we realized a few years ago, doing an entire Christmas dinner, not only it's not worth it, you're amazing. You're an amazing cook. And so I understand why it takes you the idea of doing an entire spread that you cooked from scratch. And it's delicious. But then it takes so much energy from you that it ruins days to come, and especially if you're already unwell. So I think something very clever that we did and we need to do again. Once we did just a KFC.
KFC was a good Christmas.
It was a good Christmas. And I think last year we just did the cheap version of that, which was getting fried chicken, frozen fried chicken from Lidl, and then just have that.
In the air fryer with gravy.
Yeah, and I do support that. This was amazing. There was so much stuff and it was all delicious.
So yeah, I think roast potatoes, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll always make roast potatoes.
The way that you do them.
Yeah.
I can't believe there's something that it's essentially a piece of earth can get so crispy and golden on so many levels.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely put the work in for that. Turkey, not worth it. Turkey's crap.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, this
fried chicken.
Because there's a point, like the point of this year was that we saw that Lidl was doing a Norfolk Kerry Bronze.
Like in Gavin and Stacey.
Which is the turkey that they have in Gavin and Stacey in the Christmas special. So you just wanted to do a Gavin and Stacey Christmas.
Norfolk Kerry Bronze.
And then we had Splowdown, which is a local fruit and veg co-op.
Yeah.
So we ordered the Christmas veg box from there, which was amazing. But then also Lidl was doing 5p veg.
Yeah, yeah.
So we just went in
and
and bought.
For our poverty was genuinely like, God bless us everyone, like at the end of A Christmas Carol.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, our poverty has been seen and answered.
Oh, you know what? We can stuff Stella and have roast beast, like in the Grinch. Because he is the beast.
Oh, Stelina.
Right, yes, that was our 2025 screenwipe year in review.
Wrapped.
Yeah.
This has been intense. 12 months is intense. It's intense.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't going to fit into an hour. We're now at 2 hours and 9. I assume in the video we're going to be like an hour and 45.
Hopefully, yeah.
Because there's the bathroom breaks.
Yeah, there are breaks that we can cut. Thank you for listening to us.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us in your living room, in your car, wherever you consume your podcast from.
And yeah, I hope that we can hex the patriarchy together.
And all together now in 2026.
Yeah. 2026 is the year. The year will finally hex the patriarchy.
All together now.
Bye.
Bye.